Hey folks, Tom here. It's been a while. But I thought I'd post another video after a few months now of not doing that. It's been a busy autumn for me. In my other life, I'm a writer, and I received a commission this summer that needed to be finished, and some other events and things going on. But I came up with a technique recently that I thought would be interesting to share. Again, it may not be something that no one else has come up with before, but it helped me. The way that this came up was that I read for people online, and I'm usually doing written readings, and there's a little bit of distance when you do that between you and the person that you're reading for. And I find that that doesn't necessarily harm the reading. I usually, as I've said before, do a pretty good job reading for people when I have to write the response, because it gives me time to think. But at the same time, the question becomes, how do I sort of make a connection between the cards and the person that I'm reading for when they're not sitting in front of me? You know, if they're here, then I can have them hold the deck or shuffle the deck or even choose the cards. But if they're not there, what do I do? And then the other reason that I started doing this was partly because I just tend to sort of shuffle endlessly, and I'm not one of those readers that gets the sense, oh, it's time to stop. I just shuffle and shuffle and shuffle and shuffle and shuffle. And so what I've started doing is I've started adding up the birth date, the numbers in the birth date of the person that I'm reading for, if they give it to me. And when I read for the free tarot network, you do get that. So I add up their numbers and I reduce it to the lowest number between 1 and 22 that the cards will, that the birth date will accept. So I add all the numbers together, and let's say that everything adds up to 2006. Then I would add the 2 and the 6, and I get 8. So that would be 8. Most of the time, they're actually smaller than that, I've noticed. But what I do with that is that means I shuffle the cards that number of times. But then what I do is I actually will choose, if I'm doing like a one-card reading, for example, and I tend to focus a lot on those. Let's say the reading is 4, or the person's number is 4. I choose 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's my card for the one-card reading. So that's one method of doing this technique. But the other thing is that's helpful sometimes is that it also gives me sort of a route. And what I'll sometimes do if I'm struggling is I will look at the cards underneath, not necessarily as part of the reading officially, particularly if I'm reading for something like the Free Tarot Network, which only allows one-card readings. But it gives me a little bit of backstory. So in this case, which I just randomly pulled, let's say I've got this person and their card was the Page of Wands, and I've decided that this is a person who should be learning something new, who's in a position where in order to advance on their journey, they need to learn something new about their job, say, or about their creative path. Because I often associate pages with students and wands with work or creative life. So they need to learn something new, and for whatever reason, let's say they think they know more than they should, they're refusing to learn that. But let's say I need to know more, I can sort of look at the cards underneath that were there, and I have 3 to work with. I've got the 10 of Wands, the 9 of Swords, and the 6 of Swords. And this could give me some backstory, like, well, it's not that they feel they're too good to learn more, but maybe learning is a really heavy burden, and in the past they've had some real anxiety over it, some really debilitating anxiety over learning, and that in their life it's prevented them from moving on, and that maybe within their brain, because right, we have swords that are related to brain activity, to thinking, maybe they don't think that they're capable of learning more. Again, I'm just doing this super fast, but we've got this burden, we've got this real intense fear, we've got this sense that that's prevented them from moving forward in the past, which relates to this, because I said they need to do this in order, they need to become the upright page rather than the reverse page in order to move on. And then I could say, well, these reversals say that though that's happened, it doesn't have to be that way. Like, you might actually find that the blocks there are not insurmountable. You're not stupid. You really can learn new things, etc. So the reading would really be this. It would really be about how, in order to progress, you need to learn something new that you're not learning now. But here's why that's a struggle for you. And this is from a reading that I did for someone today, and it was about their love life, and they wanted to know more about a relationship that was a mystery to them. And the Wheel of Fortune came up. And the Wheel of Fortune in this particular reading gave me the sense of uncertainty, which no one wants to say as a tarot reader. I know Corinth wants to hear, right? That what we're looking at is a sense of uncertainty. But what I got in this particular reading for this particular person was a sense of this sort of things seem great one minute and awful the next, and everything in between those two ranges, and it just changes constantly. And this sort of sense of spinning and never being sure is going on. And it was sort of a predictive reading, sort of what are the next phases of this relationship. And the card said, you know what, this uncertainty is going to continue. You're going to keep having days and moments where you feel great, you feel less great, you feel awful, you feel okay, you feel great again. This cycle is going to continue. Now, in that particular reading, there were 9 cards, and that was too much. But the card at the bottom of the stack, sort of the real root, was the Lovers reversed. And what that made me think was not necessarily having to do with the idea of lovers as lovers, but the idea that I usually think about when I think about the Lovers, which is choice and knowledge. Because Coleman Smith gives us Adam and Eve here. I often think back to the myth associated of Adam and Eve being kicked out of the garden because they ate from the tree of knowledge. And so what this gave me the sense of was that this would continue, the Wheel of Fortune, that spinning uncertainty, would continue until the querent made a choice. And that one of the choices that the querent could make would be to eat from the tree of knowledge, to find out something that she hadn't yet. And in the case of the relationship, I suggested maybe it's time to ask where you're at, so that this spinning uncertainty doesn't keep going on. You know the answer, and maybe it's the answer you want to hear, maybe it won't be, but you've got an answer. This uncertainty will stop. This was reversed, and what I actually said was that you're not doing this. You're not making a choice, and you should. And the choice could be to end the relationship. The choice could be to say everything's fine and I'm accepting this and I'm going to move ahead. Or the more likely choice relating to the myth depicted on the card was you need knowledge. You need to make the choice to find out where you're at. So anyway, that's just sort of one way of working with this. I call this root cards. And again, it's basically just sort of if you reduce the person's birth date to a digit that falls between 1 and 22, and I just chose that arbitrarily, really, because 22 is the number of major arcana cards. And in fact, it's probably useful to make it something like 5, if you can reduce it to like 5. But whatever. You choose 3, 4, and then here's your card. You've got the moon, always a vague card, but then underneath you've got the 9 of Pentacles reversed. We've got the 6 of Cups. So we've got a lot that we can work with the Magician. So what's going on under the moon, we've got all the stuff we can work with. And even, it's just, if I'm not going to bring it into the reading, it gives me a little bit of backstory. It gives me something I can work with, even if I don't necessarily say, well, here I'm seeing the Magician showing up in your root cards. It's still about the moon, but I know there may be something about channeling the energy of the moon, for example. So, anyway, I hope that helps. It's certainly been a useful technique for me in the past couple months. And let me know if it works for you. Have a great week and a great holiday.